I am taking my test 16 years after I first took it as a wee university student. And the reason I'm taking it is to put it through its paces. In terms of additional measures being brought in, we've got double the amount of sat-nav time. It's now up at 20 minutes, as well as that manoeuvre that Mark Sawatka was mentioning. There's also going to be reversing into and then reversing and then driving out of a parking bay in a car park. And then, of course, there are more measures in terms of the examiner being able to fire quick-fire questions, which I think, Nick, you're going to have a go at during this.
Yes, I am. I'm just gen up on those. On you go, Theo. What I find
okay. Well, look, I'm going to pass the microphone now over to Noel Gorn, who is, of course, the star driving instructor, or driving instructor to the stars. He's taught Niall from One Direction, Adele as well. So I've never met him before, so if this goes really badly, it's no reflection on his skills as a driving instructor, but I'm going to give him the microphone and get on with this test. Noel, here.
Morning, Nick.
Morning, Noel. Are you looking forward to this? What have you got concerns, as we were just hearing from the union?
Well, it's hard to tell. I mean, the one they're worried about is driving across the road, parking up on the opposite side of the road, reversing back 2 car lengths, and then driving off. It depends on how busy the road is going to be. So we'll have to wait and see, but I've no great concerns at the moment.
I just want to warn you this. I did once briefly share a car with Theo Ushwood. It's a hair-raising experience, I have to warn you.
Well, he's trying to work out how to turn it on at the moment, so hopefully we'll be okay.
It's absolutely fine. Right,
no, that's fantastic. All right, gents, we will come back to you, and indeed you will be taken. Go to LBC Facebook page to watch Theo. He was struggling to find the ignition. I bet it's one of those that's got a push button. That's probably what his problem was. It's not got a key that he's desperately trying to... Right, we'll go back to him a little bit later, coming up. This morning. It's make or break. We'll be hearing what you think needs to take place.
If you just press the, we'll just park it. Oh no. Oh, okay.
Is that alright? He'll come nice and tight. That's great.
Okay. Right. If you just before we go on, if you just press, sorry, reach between your crotch. Let's do this. Let's go to our dogs.
It's getting all misty there.
There we go. So,
have you been to the lovely house on the Isle of Dogs?
I have. There's a right. Here we go. We're live on Facebook.
You're doing really well so far. Have you got the lights on?
Yep, lights on.
Good, man.
I think.
Yeah. That always helps in the dark. When's the last time you drove it? Was that manual?
We've got the reason.
Cross the roundabout. First exit. B118. Old
we've
Ford
got
Road.
a manual car now, a geared car now. I did a lot. I passed my test. Yes, I said 16 years ago, and we drove to. And I wasn't a very good driver. I took 7 attempts to pass my test.
That wasn't down to you though. That's down to your instructor.
I couldn't find. I finally found the right instructor when I was at university. I had instructors who just shouted at me, and I've never been very good at sort of hand-eye stuff. It's just never been my bag. And
so you're saying you find it difficult when people shout at you to learn how to drive?
No recommendations. We parked up, and he was absolutely terrific. He was just a real down to earth runner, and he was great. He was great, and I learned. I failed once with him, and then I passed away.
So let's take a little bit getting used to switch over cars. So
but now we've got what I was going to ask you about is we've now got an automatic VW Polo
These, the one I've got here, this is when they said, yes, go diesel. Diesels are very good. So I went out and bought a nice little diesel, as you do, back in the day, and now and how they're saying now they're not very good. But yeah, I mean, this car here is by far the best car I've ever had, as in terms of be careful not to.
Could you just my login is 15. If you just
I don't have these phones. Fucking shit. I've got a what's your phone? I hope they. You said it's live on Facebook?
Oh right, okay. It's audio.
Just in case.
So what do I do?
And I wouldn't buy a car because an instructor has a car. Personally, just buy the car you're going to buy. If you learn on the manual and you pass the manual, and you start driving the automatic, a couple of hours back in to swing it again, you'll get the hang of the manual. So I wouldn't worry. Don't be dictated. A lot of people make that mistake and then they go, hang on, I grow it. You've got is it one child?
One child, yeah.
You need a big boot.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm looking at cars, I go down to Car Giant.
Really?
A big plug there, but
yeah.
Car Giant. Because you've got it. I wouldn't necessarily buy the car there, but they've got such a fantastic range of cars. You can jump in, have a feel, get the one that works for you.
Yeah. Is there anything you recommend particularly?
Everyone is different. I do those are keeping over far. No.
Too close to the middle of the road.
Well, no, I'd be over close to the white line.
Close to the white line. Okay.
The reason I do that is then if somebody was going to could see you, they might let you come past.
Ah.
See the car behind you? See the line of them?
Yeah.
It's all having a little peak there. I think okay, if somebody's coming this way, they might sort of. Sorry, man. You can drive. I'll keep you getting.
No, you carry on. So I need to be close to what. Well, whilst I was saying I drive too. Yeah.
Oh, normally you always drive from the left. From the left. But if you get something about to park up, I mean, what I'm watching for now is bus stops. And then sort of, if you're parking up, you keep out a little bit. Other cars may actually go past. May not. You're in East London, so then.
You've now got a big old driving school.
It's not too big. It's taking me long. It's taking me a long time to get the instructors. I have. Do you know what the instructors you mentioned that do the shouting? There's a lot of not very good instructors out there. We've gone through a lot just trying to get the right ones. On it. And I think you've got people are when you're talking to them, you're having chats with them, you're doing a lot of research into them. It's sort of different when they're talking to me, and then they're in the car.
After 200 yards,
and then you go, well, this one is a bit late, This morning we were meeting at 7. I was parked down the road at 6:30.
Yeah.
That's what I've always done. So I get there early, have a cup of coffee. Yeah. If something happens on the road.
right.
Yeah. You manage your time.
That's difficult.
I need to go straight.
It's on the road markers here. They haven't cleared up the other ones. Jeez, another sign been around here.
I think she's worried about different biting points on the car, so she wants to have a little practice between lessons. And so
well, the thing is, you can overthink it, and this is what people do when they're in the car. I would have a chat and say to the cars, can we go over on a little hill? Spend 5 or 10 minutes there, just getting the feel of it. Just being able to hold the car on the hill.
Well, she says she's got the feel of the Golf. She's feeling she's got the control of lockdown.
Yeah, but once you switch over cars, it takes an hour or two. Just tell her, even when I switch over cars, I stall a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brain is still on the old car. So it's quite natural. So tell them not to worry about it. So don't buy a car that works for her learning.
Yeah.
You got to think. Well, what are we going to be using it for? We're going to be travelling. We're going to be, we need a big boat and stuff that you could use. And you think, don't try so hard. And especially when she goes to do her test, I thought just drive normal. People get in the car and say, "Oh, show they yourself how fantastically brilliant I am." You're going to mess it up. So you go in there. Just I don't know if you've been doing this, but at the end of each lesson, have a little think about it. Okay, write down 2 or 3 little things that she's not 100% confident on. She might be okay on, but not confident on. So I wouldn't mind having a crack at that. So when she sees Carl, that's the next step. Say he's got whatever he has in mind.
Yeah.
Here's a little list. Just 2 or 3 things. And what is that? It builds up confidence in your head. You say, "I've got that off. I've got that off. Still got that off."
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I know they didn't watch this further.
What's that? That's a minor, isn't it? Or is that a major?
I don't know if there's a cyclist coming there. It could be a bit more serious. Then always your mirrors are. I do notice when you check your mirror, you come into a light. You sort of brake and then you check. Right. It's going to be a waste of time because if somebody's going to smack you from behind, you're already braking anyway, so you're going to get smacked.
So check your mirror before you brake.
So you see a green light.
Yeah.
The minute you see a green light, check your mirror. Because green lights are the red.
Right.
They're the dangerous ones. People always get confusing. It's the red ones, the dangerous ones. They are the dangerous ones. I'm surprised how nice people have been in these. Something's changed since I used to live down here.
It's lovely. Where do you live now?
Bishop Stortford. I moved there. Because I used to live around here, but schools was the problem. So I did a lot of research, and
what's that?
this is a sad notice.
Oh, is it a camera?
Probably the camera. There's a camera.
Oh yeah, there's a camera. Yeah.
After 800 yards, turn right, A1206, West Ferry Road.
But yes, always check your mirrors when you see a green light. Yeah. And then if it changes, you know exactly how close the car is behind us. Something around your backside, then begin to eat off the gas. You know this. You know this. I'm going to. It's quite a nice little car, this one. Literally, this car is. You're in the right lane. Okay.
Is that right?
After
okay.
300 yards, turn right, A1206, West Ferry Road.
Always best to keep the danger on the right hand side because use that mirror. It's easier to see on that mirror.
So I should be left and right.
That's alright. Not the end of the world at the moment because we're going to go straight ahead and we are going to go right anyway. So you are planning ahead, which is good. But always best to keep the danger on the right of you. Easier to see. Pretty much on it. Yeah, there's this. Yeah, the Golf. The great thing with this Golf in particular, I've never actually had to change the light bulb on it. Ever. The Citroen I had before that, then I became a master at changing light bulbs. Absolutely brilliant at it. Kind of got some classes in them. So just going to keep things straight down. Keep on the right hand leg. Okay. No, we're going right.
After 100 yards, turn right, A1206, West Ferry Road, then keep left.
Yeah, it's and the tax. Well, I think they changed the rules of the last budget, but the tax on this year is car tax is 0. I think that's all been changed. And the insurance is pretty good. Well, my insurance for an instructor's insurance, mine is about 400 quid. Which is good. That's for an instructor. Most people pay not a fortune.
My insurance is a fortune.
Well, mine is when I do celebrities because I have to tell the insurance company.
Really?
And then they make up a figure. Literally, they make a figure up, and then they'll screw you over. I did have one where I rang up. I didn't even know who she was, but she told me she was high profile. And they had to put some crazy figure. I had to Google her. Still didn't know who she was at the end, but yeah. Make some money on this one.
But you don't teach anymore.
I not so much, no.
After 100 yards, keep left, then cross the roundabout, third exit.
Any reason why we're changing lanes?
Are we going up the ramp?
You don't have to.
Keep left,
sorry.
then cross the roundabout, third exit.
So we're just going straight ahead and down here. Sat-nav can be tricky there.
Yeah.
Get the hang of it.
After 100 yards, cross the roundabout, third exit, A1206, West Ferry Road. Cross the roundabout, third exit.
The amount of people coming down here that are on the drivers and they don't supposed to give away. Give away there. They're doing it. You don't shop at Asda's at all, man. You're lying.
Take the exit,
See?
A1206,
You don't shop at Asda's
West
at
Ferry
all.
No,
Road.
so there's an
Then
Asda there.
go straight
There's
on,
an Asda.
Marsh Hall.
There's a farm, community farm down there.
That's quite good, yeah. I mean, I've been there for years.
After 100 yards, go straight on.
Munchie, yeah.
No trouble for feeding the goats carrots.
Go straight on.
Down here?
Down here, yeah. It's changed. That used to be a pub just there. It's all over millions. This building here.
So we're going to get there at 7:40 now, I think. Could we do an extra lap?
Yeah, I'm already
Around, just an extra lap because we need to.
And the new test, you can do reverse in the bay or drive in and reverse back out. Or the one that the controversial one is to park on the opposite side.
We'll do that. Let's do that. Let's do that as the.
Let's go and find out where there's a little place. Can I answer it?
Yeah.
Hi, Maz. It's Noel here, yeah. It's alright. When are you coming live, roughly? When are you coming live? 5 minutes, okay. We'll be in position. Right, dial in for Conbricks?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you, Maz. Bye.
So
Bye.
just let's find somewhere to do that.
There is a place. If you go down to the roundabout, just to the
Yeah.
at the end here, and there's a nice little place where we can choose for park up.
Let's do that. Let's do that reversing.
After 200 yards,
Let's do that.
turn
Let's do that
right,
reversing
Lyme Harbour.
in a against the traffic. Just trying to do the
Oh, so you park across the road and then reverse back and come out. Yeah, we'll.
And then Nick will fire me a question. He can fire me a couple of questions.
I'll get behind
So
you.
is it
Right,
right?
yeah, keep going.
Keep
Yeah,
going.
Turn right.
Forget about
Yeah, forget
this
about
now.
that, right.
Yeah, just that little red car behind you was going to run you off the road a second ago. I'm not sure if you noticed.
Was he?
Yeah.
No, I didn't notice.
I told you to put the L plate on. So this is what I used to do.
After
Take the L plate
200
off between
yards,
lessons.
go
Yeah.
around
I had
the
one in
roundabout,
Bethnal Green.
fourth exit,
Yeah.
Marsh Hall, then turn
Bus
left.
overtook me in Bethnal Green, flying past me, pulled up, blocked the road. They're going to go the second
Go around
exit
the
on your
roundabout,
right. Go
fourth
right, yeah.
exit, then turn left.
Just down that little road, just down one car skipper. But yeah, so now as you go down here, you can drive way down here, park on the opposite side of the street, anywhere you like. Decision is yours.
It's a bus stop, so I can't park. So I need to park up
On the opposite side.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to park on this side to go across the traffic.
Why? as you're driving on your test, you'll just have to park up on the right. Someone said.
So we need to go back up, and then when they cross it, we'll get the kit going.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Just so that so we're driving along now.
Yeah.
And then part, and then you do the manoeuvre. So I'll find somewhere just to park up and get the kit line. Nick's going to cross
After
to
100
you.
yards, turn right, Marshfield Street.
Let's swing in here.
Turn right.
Just trying to get a place down there where we.
Right. So headphones on. And just press that one.
Of Londoners and the emergency services and others will be celebrated at what I think might be a unique ceremony held by the city's 3 police forces today. It's the first commendation ceremony seeking to celebrate the work of the forces who serve London. Obviously the Met, London's Metropolitan Police Force, City of London Police, and of course the BTP, the British Transport Police. Let's go to Metropolitan Police Commissioner Cressida Dick, who joins me now. Commissioner, good morning. I think this is unprecedented, but I may well be wrong. You can put me right, I'm sure. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Yes, it is unprecedented. It's a symbol of the way in which our 3 services have come together over the last few years to protect London, and I and my colleagues Ian and Paul at the City and BTP thought it was absolutely appropriate after these ghastly attacks that our commendations should be given jointly.
Who will be taking part in the celebrations, Commissioner?
Well, you say celebrations, Nick. I have to say I think it will be a very very moving occasion,
yes.
And obviously our thoughts will be with, as well as the people there, those who've lost their lives and those who've been so appallingly affected by these attacks.
But it is to honour the work of the emergency service as well.
But it is to honour and thank those officers and staff, and indeed members of the public who assisted the police.
He doesn't mean it. Oh, this is Betsy, by the way. All my cars are Betsy. Looking around very much.
I don't like looking around. Can you hear me? Now you're going to be speaking to Noel. No, first, you won't be speaking to me at all. I'm driving.
Is wrong, and my professional standards department will be reviewing what has happened in relation to how information has been handled, and if any offences are disclosed, we will investigate them.
Up to possible prosecution?
Undoubtedly, if offences have been disclosed and that can be proved.
Seems to
special ceremony, unprecedented ceremony today, to mark the bravery and the resourcefulness of Londoners who were caught up in those horrific 3 attacks. Right, let's go back to Theo Usherwood, the political editor who's taking the new driving test, although I think I'm going to Noel, his instructor, who's trying to help Theo through a particular manoeuvre. Noel, how's it been going so far?
Well, we're still alive. What more could you hope for? It's his first driving lesson in 16 years.
And we all probably get a little bit ring rusty, let's be honest about it. We don't necessarily keep our hands at 10 to 2 or quarter to 3 or whatever the heck it was, I can't even remember. What's been something that you've picked up on, Noel?
He does like to hold on to the gear stick, which is quite sweet. But I would prefer to have the 2 hands on the wheel, or even 1 hand.
Yeah, particularly if it's an automatic. That's what makes that so surprising. So what is it we're going to do now? I'm going to give him some questions. Is that correct, Noel?
Well, I was going to get him to do the controversial manoeuvre.
Oh yes, let's do it. Yeah, let's watch this. LBC Facebook page. Go to LBC page. Noel, over to you. You're in control. Okay.
Theo, can you park somewhere safe and convenient on the right, please?
Got his X5 behind me. Just shut up.
His hand off the wheel. I just saw him take his hand off the wheel and point. You don't do that.
No, I think he's actually reversing into the base as opposed to just parking. So he's making this slightly more difficult than he needs to. But we will get there. We will get there. This is an interesting manoeuvre. This is one that's not on the test. This is reversing on the right-hand side. It is on the instructor test, though.
Right. Okay. So he's making it even more difficult.
He's making it more difficult. Yeah. He's showing me how good he is. He's definitely. That's quite a nice manoeuvre. He's done it.
As tight as a nut. You won't get anything better.
Now this is the difficult part. This is what we're going to need to drive off safely. This is where it's going to be interesting on a moderately busy road. So, fingers crossed.
Stop laughing.
I'm not nervous at all.
Stop.
I can see he's doing everything wrong. He's taking his hands off the wheel.
Stop it.
Well, actually, eat a chocolate bar as he's going along.
No. He's done all right. We didn't interfere with any other traffic. Well, not much. So yeah, he's done okay. He's done okay. You know, bless him.
What's he doing?
Doing nothing wrong.
Yeah, 2 hands off the wheel again. Yeah. He's done okay. Can we take the second exit on me?
You or the sat nav?
What you can do, me or the sat nav?
Which one?
Second left.
Second.
Yeah, that's it.
Second exit.
He still hasn't quite got the hang of the sat nav.
He's taking his hand off the wheel again. I could fail him sitting in the office, so God knows what it's like sitting where you are, Noel.
Well, that could be the future. That could be the future. Maybe instructors could sit at home.
So now I have to ask him a couple of questions. Theo, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Nick.
Okay. Tell me how you'd make sure your head restraint is correctly adjusted so it gives the best protection in the event of a crash.
Before I start driving or afterwards? Now?
No, as you're talking. Yeah, just tell me how you'd make sure your head restraint is correctly adjusted.
Well, you click it.
You click. Okay, the actual answer is the head restraint should be adjusted so the rigid part is at least as high as the eye or top of the ears and as close to the back of the head as is comfortable. No, Theo, you don't just, quotes, click it. Right. Tell me how you'd know if there was a problem with your anti-lock braking system.
The light.
I heard it.
The light.
I heard it. You're not allowed to phone a friend. That's cancelled. You're not allowed that one. Right. One last one. Here we go. Tell me how you check the power-assisted steering is working before starting a journey. Noel, I'm listening. Be careful. It all depends on this. Tell me how you check the power-assisted steering is working before starting.
You just like whiz the steering wheel a bit.
You whiz the steering.
You just move it. You just jerk the steering wheel.
Yeah, I guess I'll give you that. If the steering becomes heavy, the system may not be working properly before starting a journey. Simple checks can be made. Gentle pressure on the steering wheel. Maintain while the engine is started. Alternatively, turn the steering wheel just after moving off. I'll give you that one. And we will be going back to Noel and Theo later in the show to see whether he does actually pass. And of course, you can watch all this on LBC Facebook page, the LBC Facebook page. Thanks to Noel. Hear from you in the next hour. All right, coming up after the news, we'll try and feature some of your Brexit views on the texts, the tweets and the emails. This fairly controversial report, you've heard it on the LBC News Bulletin.